Imran Khan. The fact that the media did not talk to him about the love of the Pakistani people. For the first time you see him. Part 3. In national security policy, Khan's government presided over an improved overall security climate, with foreign investors expressing greater confidence in the security of their investments in Pakistan. On the 5th of March 2019, the Khan government formally banned the Hafiz Seed-led Jamaat ad-Dawa and its affiliate Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation under the Anti-Terrorism Act 1997. On the 25th of June 2020, Khan came under criticism, both in the international press and from the domestic opposition, for calling al-Qaeda founder and 9/11 mastermind Osama bin Laden a martyr. Khan, on a previous occasion during a local television interview, had refused to call bin Laden a terrorist. In October 2020, Imran Khan spoke out about the growing extremism and violence against Muslims across the world. In a letter posted on Twitter, he urged Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg to ban Islamophobic content on its platform. In July 2021, the Project Pegasus revealed a spyware surveillance list that included at least one number once used by Khan. In 2019, Pakistan arrested Hafiz Seed, a mastermind of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, also undesignated terrorist, and on the 8th of April 2022 he was sentenced to 31 years in prison. In social policy, Khan's government has taken steps to restore religious sites belonging to religious minorities. This included the Kartarpur corridor. Khan's government took a significantly different position on the policy of minorities than the main opposition party, the PMLN, who had opposed the building of the corridor for Indian pilgrims. Khan's government also instituted reforms to education and healthcare on a national and regional level respectively. Khan's government introduced reforms to Pakistan's social safety net and the system of welfare in Pakistan more broadly. This included broadening welfare payments, which was initially for widows only, to include the disabled as well as provide health insurance coverage. In June 2021, Khan explained a surge of publicly known rape cases in Pakistan with what he called common sense, namely that women who wear very few clothes will have an impact on the men unless they are robots. His comments lead to outrage by female rights activists. Khan pushed for an increase in renewable energy production and halted coal power from future construction, working toward an aim to make Pakistan mostly renewable by 2030. In 2020, Khan's government commenced building work for the Diamur Basha Dam as part of his government's investment in renewable energy projects. The World Bank loaned Pakistan $450 million for investment in renewable energy projects as part of the government's stated aim of making Pakistan a renewable energy-reliant economy and reducing greenhouse gas emissions to combat climate change. The government also introduced an electric vehicle policy, the first in South Asia. Further efforts to combat climate change consisted of reforesting Pakistan with over 10 billion trees under the Plant for Pakistan project, with the government on course to plant 3.3 billion trees in the first 3.5 years of Khan's government. The reforestation program includes an agreement with the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, World Wildlife Fund and others to independently monitor the projects in order to maintain transparency about funding. Khan also expanded national parks under a protected areas initiative. Khan's government introduced reforms to Pakistan's bloated public sector. The public sector consisted of state-owned enterprises that were consistently making losses and accumulating debt for decades, including national services such as railways, airlines, postal services, as well as other state-owned companies such as Pakistan's state-owned steel company. In 2019, Pakistan International Airlines reached break-even in operating profit. However, the halt in air travel in the following year due to COVID-19 meant further reforms had to be made. This led to a proposal to cut the airline's workforce almost by half in order to save costs, and thus help the state-owned airline break even on a net profit level in addition to the operating profit level. The national airline confirmed it would lay off employees in phases as part of PIA's restructuring plan, in line with the government's policy of reversing the losses at state-owned companies. Khan's government is set to axe many PIA workers due to the fact that those appointments were politically motivated to reward loyalty to previous governments. In 2019, Khan's government launched an anti-corruption campaign which was premised on the basis that no amnesty would be given to politicians or relatives who benefited from a politician's patronage. The campaign has been criticized for targeting Khan's political opponents. Nevertheless, Khan's supporters argue that the campaign is genuine, as senior members of Khan's own ruling party, including Jahangir Khan Tareen and Aleem Khan, have faced investigation or prosecution, with Khan going as far as rejecting the formation of a judicial commission demanded by supporters of Tareen. Under Khan's premiership, the performance of Pakistan's anti-corruption agency, the National Accountability Bureau improved significantly. When measured in terms of recovery of money in cases involving plea bargains and/or convictions, the recovery of the Anti-Corruption Agency had risen to Rs. 487 billion over 3 years from the start of 2018 to the beginning of 2021. This recovery was significantly higher than the Anti-Corruption Agency's 10-year performance from 2008 to 2018 prior to Khan's government taking office. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Khan's government rolled out the largest welfare program in Pakistan's history, with a fund of almost $1 billion aimed at the country's poorest segment of the population. The PM's advisor Dr. Sania Nishtar confirmed that the program would use pre-existing data of other welfare programs under ASA's system and the much smaller Benazir Income Support Program, which provided a more limited safety net, while the ASA's program targeted lower-income households more broadly. Following a drop in COVID-19 cases, declining positivity rates, and falling hospitalizations, Khan's government lifted lockdown restrictions. In a Gallup survey released in 2021, 7 out of 10 of Pakistanis had a favorable view of the government's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Economically, a V-shaped recovery was observed in both business confidence and expected employment index. The current account was in surplus for 3 out of 4 months after June 2020, although this was due to higher remittances offsetting decrease in exports. Fiscal prudence meant Pakistan's debt-to-GDP ratio remained broadly unchanged in 2021 according to the IMF. Pakistan defied the trend of rising debt, as most emerging, developing economies had witnessed a substantial rise in the debt-to-GDP ratio in order to deal with the pandemic, with other developing countries seeing a 10% rise in debt-to-GDP on average. Furthermore, credit rating agency Fitch forecasted a fall in Pakistan's public debt-to-GDP ratio, reflecting lower debt incurred by the incumbent government and higher GDP growth in 2021. In economic policy, Khan's government presided over a recovery in Pakistan's textile sector, with demand measured by the number of orders pending hitting historic highs. Khan's government facilitated the textile sector by offering concessionary rates on utilities such as electricity, as well as reducing the electricity tariff during peak hours. Furthermore, the Asian Development Bank stated that it sees an economic recovery in Pakistan. Also, signs of recovery emerged as exports reached pre-COVID levels towards the end of 2020. Following the recovery in the textile sector, export growth was almost in double digits by February 2021, with a 9% growth in exports, especially value-added textile exports. In early 2021, Pakistan's apparel exports to the U.S. had surged upwards in value and volume, outperforming India and Bangladesh, both of which are the nearest regional economies similar to Pakistan's in South Asia. Khan's government facilitated the textile sector by removing all import tariffs on cotton yarn, in order to address a shortfall in the main raw material input of textiles and apparel. This policy of tax concessions was codified at least in the short term when Khan's government unveiled its budget for 2021-22, which had reduced customs duty on imports of inputs for final manufactured goods. In foreign policy, Khan voiced support for the 2019 Turkish offensive into northeastern Syria against the Kurdish-led SDF. On the 11th of October 2019, Khan told the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan that Pakistan fully understands Turkey's concerns relating to terrorism. Khan's foreign policy towards neighboring Afghanistan consists primarily of support for the Afghan peace process, and also inaugurated a 24/7 border crossing with Afghanistan to facilitate travel and trade. He said that Pakistan will never recognize Israel until a Palestinian state is created, a statement in line with the vision of Pakistan's founder Muhammad Ali Jinnah. According to the British newspaper The Independent, Khan's government had improved Pakistan's reputation abroad by stepping into its role as a world player. In 2019, Khan was included in the Time 100 Times annual list of the 100 most influential people in the world. Khan also pursued a reset in ties with Gulf Arab states such as the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, with the UAE agreeing to roll over Pakistan's debt on an interest-free loan. Subsequently, Khan embarked on a 3-day visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in order to reset ties, where he was personally received at the airport by Mohammed bin Salman. The ties had become tense previously due to the unwillingness of Pakistan to contribute militarily to the Saudi Arabia-led intervention in Yemen. Saudi Arabia's ambassador to Pakistan confirmed that the Saudi government had approved a concessionary loan for building a hydroelectric dam, the Momen Dam. Khan's government also improved ties with the Gulf state of Kuwait, as Kuwait confirmed it had lifted a 10-year visa ban on Pakistani nationals. Khan's government enhanced economic ties with Qatar, which is expected to benefit Pakistan by US $3 billion over 10 years by renegotiating terms in an energy supply deal which saw a significant reduction in Pakistan's energy import compared to the previous deal. Khan was mediating between Iran and Saudi Arabia in an effort to end the war in Yemen, which is part of an Iran-Saudi Arabia proxy conflict. On the 9th of May 2021, Khan condemned the Israeli police actions at Al-Aqsa Mosque, stating that such actions violated all norms of humanity and law. Also, Khan has been vocal on the Kashmir issue, and his government adopted the foreign policy stance that no talks will be held with India on the Kashmir dispute until autonomy was restored in Indian-held Kashmir. Khan's national security advisor Mohd Yusuf confirmed that backdoor contacts with India had broken down after India had refused to restore the region's autonomy. In August 2021, Khan celebrated the departure of the United States from Afghanistan, describing it as Afghans breaking the shackles of slavery. After 23 years without a premier of Pakistan visiting Moscow, Khan became the first such official of the century when he landed in the Russian capital on the 23rd of February for a 2-day trip where he planned to discuss key issues of bilateral interest with top leadership, according to the Foreign Office of Pakistan. Nawaz Sharif, in March 1999, was the last to visit Moscow until then. The meeting between the two heads of state was planned months in advance, and President Vladimir Putin met with Khan just hours after the Russian special military operation into the Donbass, in an attack on neighboring Ukraine. During the second day of Khan's visit, Radio Pakistan reported the two discussed economic and energy cooperation, namely, a several billion-dollar Pakistan Stream gas pipeline project that Russian enterprise partnered in developing southward from Karachi to Punjab. The pipeline, which began in 2020, is the result of a 2015 agreement for a 100 kilometers pipeline with a design capacity ranging from 12.4 to 16 billion cubic meters, with Russia financing 26% of costs, which ranged from $US$0.50, 3.5 billion. It was expected that even under sanctions against Russia, Pakistan could still import up to 14 billion cubic meters of liquid natural gas from the vast Russian reserves to the energy-starved power plants in Pakistan. The Eurasian Pipeline Consortium and pipeline supplier TMK were tasked with completing the route. Of the timing on the talks, Khan explained that he was invited by Putin months in advance, but furthermore that he was not interested in joining any blocs, and welcomed neutrality in hopes of peace and harmony within and among societies. Following the visit, Khan repeatedly refused to submit to Western pressure, calling for his condemnation of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, at one point remarking, "What do you think of us? Are we your slaves? That whatever you say, we will do." During the General Assembly emergency meeting on the invasion, he expressed regret for the situation while registering an abstention, and called for de-escalation with adherence to international law as laid out in the Charter. After Khan disclosed to the public, in violation of state-secret legislation, a diplomatic cable from the U.S. urging action be taken to remove Khan in a coup on the 8th of March 2022, opposition parties submitted a motion of no confidence against him to the National Assembly's Secretariat. On the 1st of April 2022, Prime Minister Khan announced that in context of the no-confidence motion against him in the National Assembly, the three options were discussed with establishment to choose from, viz., resignation, no confidence, or elections. On the 3rd of April 2022, while addressing the nation, Imran Khan announced that he had advised the President of Pakistan to dissolve the National Assembly of Pakistan. On dissolution of the National Assembly of Pakistan, a circular issued by the government declared that Imran Khan had ceased to hold the office of Prime Minister of Pakistan. This culminated in a constitutional crisis, as according to Article 224 of the Pakistani Constitution, an incumbent Prime Minister continues to hold the office of Prime Minister on an interim basis until a caretaker Prime Minister is appointed. On the 10th of April, a no-confidence vote was conducted and he was ousted from office, becoming the first Prime Minister in Pakistan to be removed from office by a vote of no confidence. Khan claimed the U.S. was behind his removal because he conducted an independent foreign policy and had friendly relations with China and Russia. His removal led to protests from his supporters across Pakistan. He has a house in Zaman Park, Lahore worth Rs. 29 million. Khan is also an investor, investing more than Rs. 40 million in various businesses. He is also owner of agriculture land of 39 canals at Talhar, Islamabad, and 530 canals at Cornwall. Further, he also has a share in 363 canals of agricultural land which he inherited. Khan has paid Rs. 10.19 million to buy 2 apartments at Shara-e-Dastur in Islamabad. Other assets include furniture of Rs. 0.6 million and livestock of Rs. 0.2 million. However, he has no vehicle registered in his name. Khan owns a 300-canal mansion in Bani Gala, Islamabad worth Rs. 750 million. Khan declared it as a gift in his statement to the Election Commission of Pakistan. The mansion is located within a gated enclosure and is accessible through a private driveway. In November 2019, using FBR statements, Pakistani media revealed how much tax Khan had paid in 37 years. Khan paid Rs. 103,763 of tax in 2017, and over 37 years, he paid a total of Rs. 4 million, equivalent to Rs. 20 million or $89,000 in 2021 in tax up to 2019. The documents released by the FBR also state that during this period he was exempted for some years from paying tax. On the 3rd of January 2022, FBR released its 2019 tax directory for parliamentarians, and it was revealed that Khan had paid Rs. 9.8 million in taxes in 2019. After the May 2013 elections, Mohammed Hanif, writing for The Guardian, termed Khan's support as appealing to the educated middle classes. But Pakistan's main problem is that there aren't enough educated urban middle-class citizens in the country. Pankaj Misra, writing for The New York Times in 2012, characterized Khan as a cogent picture out of his and Pakistan's clashing identities, adding that his identification with the suffering masses and his attacks on his affluent English-speaking peers have long been mocked in the living rooms of Lahore and Karachi as the hypocritical ravings of Imam and Taliban Khan, the two favored monikers for him. Misra concluded with, like all populist politicians, Khan appears to offer something to everyone. Yet the great differences between his constituencies, socially liberal, upper-middle-class Pakistanis and the deeply conservative residents of Pakistan's tribal areas, seem irreconcilable. On the 18th of March 2012, Salman Rushdie criticized Khan for refusing to attend the India Today conference because of Rushdie's attendance. Khan cited the immeasurable hurt that Rushdie's writings have caused Muslims around the world. Rushdie, in turn, suggested that Khan was a dictator in waiting. In 2011, while writing for The Washington Post, Richard Labey termed Khan as an underdog, adding that he often sounds like a pro-democracy liberal but is well known for his coziness with conservative Islamist parties. Ayesha Siddiqui, in September 2014, writing for The Express Tribune, claimed that while we can all sympathize with Khan's right to change the political tone, it would be worthwhile for him to envision how he would, if he did become the prime minister of this country, put the genie back into the bottle. H.M. Naqvi termed Khan as a sort of a Ron Paul figure, adding that there is no taint of corruption and there is his anti-establishment message. During the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s, Khan was a popular sex symbol. He became known as a socialite in English high society, and sported a playboy image amongst the British press and paparazzi due to his non-stop partying at London nightclubs such as Annabel's and Tramp, though he claims to have hated English pubs and never drank alcohol. British heiress Sita White, daughter of Gordon White, Baron White of Hull, became the mother of his alleged love-child daughter, Tyrion Jade White. A judge in the U.S. ruled him to be the father of Tyrion due to his failure to appear in court, but Khan has denied paternity and asked for the case to be opened in Pakistani courts. Later in 2007, the Election Commission of Pakistan ruled in favor of Khan and dismissed the ex parte judgment of the U.S. court, on grounds that it was neither admissible in evidence before any court or tribunal in Pakistan nor executable against him. About his lifestyle as a bachelor, he has often said that, "I never claimed to have led an angelic life." Declan Walsh in The Guardian newspaper in England in 2005 described Khan as a miserable politician, observing that Khan's ideas and affiliations since entering politics in 1996 have swerved and skidded like a rickshaw in a rain shower. He preaches democracy one day, but gives a vote to reactionary mullahs the next. Khan has also been accused by some opponents and critics of hypocrisy and opportunism, including what has been called his life's playboy to Puritan U-turn. Political commentator Najm Seth stated that a lot of the Imran Khan story is about backtracking on a lot of things he said earlier, which is why this doesn't inspire people. Author Fatima Bhutto has criticized Khan for incredible coziness not with the military, but with dictatorship as well as some of his political decisions. Nevertheless, Khan's approval rating since he became prime minister remained comparatively robust for an office holder in Pakistani politics, with a majority approving, compared to 46% disapproval and 3% undecided. Other polls suggested his approval was as high as 57%. During his cricketing days, Khan featured in many advertisements and television commercials as a celebrity brand endorser. These included Pepsi Pakistan, Brook Bond, Thumbs Up, and the Indian soap brand Synthol, at a time when Bollywood legend Vinod Khanna was also endorsing the same product. His popularity in India was such that it was unmatched in an era when there were no smartphones to take selfies. He was mobbed everywhere he went. The late veteran Bollywood actor Dev and even offered him a role in his sports action thriller movie All Number, that of a cricket star in decline opposite an upcoming cricketer essayed by Amir Khan, and as he refused, citing his lack of acting skills, the role eventually went to Aditya Panchali. In 2010, a Pakistani production house produced a biographical film based on Khan's life, titled Captain, The Making of a Legend. The title, which is Urdu for captain, depicts Khan's captaincy and career with the Pakistan cricket team, which led them to victory in the 1992 Cricket World Cup, as well as events which shaped his life, from being ridiculed in cricket to being labeled a playboy. From the death of his mother to his efforts and endeavors in building the first cancer hospital in Pakistan, from being the first chancellor of the University of Bradford to the building of Namal University. Canadian rock band Nickelback released a music video for its politically themed single Edge of a Revolution, featuring a short clip of a Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf rally among other protests. The brief clip from the PTI rally shows red and green party flags along with a poster of PTI chairman Imran Khan, who was the most popular opposition leader. Soon, we will publish Part 4